introduce our first presenter. This is Jill O'Boyle. So Jill is someone who you definitely want to learn from. She's someone that has been actively supporting women through her podcast, through her posts, through her offerings. I'm so excited that she's going to share her wisdom here with us today. Jill is a high-performance coach specializing in communication, productivity, and purpose. She helps high-achieving professionals who are burnt out and working 70+ hours a week. She knows what that feels like from experience. Create a work-life balance that allows them to be more efficient, work less, and actually get more done so they can enjoy life, have fun, and spend more time with the ones they love. Welcome, Jill. So happy to have you here today.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
We're happy to have you.
All right.
I'll let you take it away.
All right. Well, let's dive in. Well, thank you everybody so much for joining in. I love Jennifer Jade. As she said, I'm an awakener. And I just think this is just going to be a fun day and I get to kick it off. And then there's so many other amazing women that you're going to hear from. So I'm excited just for what this day is going to bring. I think it's just going to be so inspiring. Something's going to resonate with one of the stories you hear today. And so my story, as Jennifer said, is all about burnout. And you know, how many of us right now, the holidays are a little stressful, right? They're supposed to be filled with magic and joy. But sometimes it's just a little bit stressful. So I'm curious to know how many of you right now are just feeling a little bit of overwhelm, a little burned out, a little stressed. Like, it's okay. So let me know, feel free. Like Jennifer said, the best thing to do is participate. So put it in the chat, let me know. And I just want to talk about my life. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. So whether that for you, if you're a project manager, maybe a corporate event planner, like I once was, maybe you are a busy working mom, working professional, or you're a stay-at-home mom and you're just struggling to get it all done. Like every single one of us has experienced breakout or burnout in some way or form, but we can break out of that, right? We can make a change. So many people have this conception of what burnout is, and they have this feeling of like how to fix it. But what happens is really most people, they are treating the symptoms and they're not really getting to the root problem of why burnout happens. And so today I'm excited in our time together because I'm going to share with you why burnout happens. What are some things that causes it? And then most importantly, what are 3 ways that we can just banish it? What are 3 ways that we can stop it and then help you to get your time back, have more freedom in your life, have more abundance, have more energy. So that way you can take care of your family and you can enjoy your life. I mean, how many of us would rather have that? Who wants some time back? Like, let me know in the chat. Say, I do. I want time back. I think we all do, right? We all want freedom. We all want time. We all want energy in our life. So here's the thing. Yeah, Jen's like, I do. Yeah, I know. Me too. So here's the thing. Life is what we make of it. So we can choose to have a life living on this hamster wheel of busy work. We can choose to have this life filled of burnout, working 70 hours a week, being disconnected from our family, our friends, our spouse. Or we can be intentional to make some changes, or we can choose to start creating the life that we want to live. Like we can get off that hamster wheel today. Like, woo, yes. Tell me how, Jill, right? We're going to do that today. We are going to do that today. All right. So, but why? I mean, burnout's it's always been around, right? So why, if we know this and if we can get off of it, why do we choose to stay stuck? Why do we choose to stay in this life full of a life that we don't desire? Why do we stay stuck in places and situations where we don't want to be? Anybody have any ideas? Like, let me know in the chat if you have an idea of why. And I'm speaking specifically to women, because women especially, I just think we live this life of just unfulfilled when we know we're meant for more, but yet we stay stuck. So I'd love to know in the chat what you think is the reason why. And then I'm going to give you the 4 reasons that I believe why women especially stay stuck in an undeserving life. All right, so here we go. Number 1, fear of the unknown. So good. We're going to get there. Fear, self-doubt. Yep. These are all resonating. So here's my 4 barriers. And so I'm going to talk quickly about these because I'm going to go run through them. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal story, how all these barriers showed up in my life. And then I'm going to give you the 3 ways to just kick these barriers aside. Like, we're going to be done with these, right? All right. So number one is being a yes girl. These are why so many women stay stuck, is being a yes girl. Anybody resonate? Anybody a yes girl like I was? Still work on it every day. Yeah. So yes girl is like where you say yes to things that you don't want to do. You say yes to things that you don't have time to do, but yet you say yes anyway. And then after you do, you're like, why did I say yes to that? Like, I don't have time for that. I don't have the capacity for that, but we do it anyway. Yeah. So I was a yes girl junkie. I lived and breathed saying yes to everything. If it meant it was going to make me successful, if it gave me instant gratification, like became a total yes girl junkie to the point that it nearly killed me. I mean, it can ruin your life. Like, I had set no boundaries and just continued to just say yes and yes and yes. So I'm going to talk about my whole personal story a little bit later, but so I'm going to run through these kind of quickly, but we'll get back to it. The second one is fear, which I think I saw, who was it on here, said fear of the unknown. Absolutely. Fear and limiting beliefs is number 1, really, in my book, of why people, especially women, stay stuck in places that we don't want to be. We stay living on this cycle of burnout, of busy work, because fear sets in. And we're a fear of the unknown. We're fear of getting out of our comfort zone. And for me, if you're like me, I stayed on that cycle of busy work and burnout so long because for me, I was that yes girl and I didn't speak up. And so I looked at, if I said no to certain things, then I looked at as weak, or I looked at like I couldn't hack it, or maybe she doesn't deserve that promotion, or maybe she, all these things that our mind tells us that are lies, like held me back and just kept, like, I just kept thinking, okay, well, I know it's a busy season right now, so I'm just going to stay on this hamster wheel. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get off, but I just got to push through. I just got to keep going. I just got to keep going. I just got to keep going. Well, let me tell you, that's going to keep you going until you hit rock bottom. It's to the point where you're just going to basically, like me, hit your rock bottom. You're never going to get there. You're never going to get to the life that you want. And so fear is so, like, I've known it now. Jennifer Jade is one who really helped me learn more and more about fear. And it's so important. It's something that even me as a coach have to remind myself daily. And so it's my screensaver on my phone, is to feel the fear and do it anyway. Like, because I know if I want to get to the places in life that I want to go, I've got to let fear go. I've got to let it go. I got to feel the fear and do it anyway. When Jennifer Jade, when I was in the Awakener program and I heard that saying, I was like, yes, that's it. Like, I'm living my life in fear. So that's number 2. So number 3 is people pleasing. It's a lot like being a yes girl. So if you've been a people pleaser, let me just tell you right now, if you are a people pleaser, you are on the way to burnout. I know, because that was me. I was a people pleaser my whole life. Love to be liked. I'm a contributor. I love to help people. But what I realize is I can still help people, but I can have boundaries. I don't have to say yes to everything. I don't have to help everybody, because what happens is it drains your energy and it keeps you stuck. Because here's what you've done. You've said yes to everybody. You're the yes girl and you're the people pleaser and you want to make sure people like you. And so then you give and give and give and give. And then you don't give anything to yourself in return. And then you find yourself just stuck. That's how I felt, at least in my situation. So I realized that I couldn't possibly be everything to everyone, and that it was okay to say no. And it wasn't that I was selfish or rude. It's just, I had to learn to say no to things that were not aligned to my core values, that deserving of my energy or my time. Or frankly, there was things in my work where everybody would come to me because I was the yes girl, and they knew like, oh, if I give it to Jill, she'll get it done. And I loved that, like that I had that respect of people. But there were some things that was being asked of me that honestly wasn't my skill set. And so back to the fear, I would say yes. And then I would be busy trying to get it all done. And it wasn't aligned to really what I was good at. And so it just is a whole cycle. Do you see the pattern of how like being a yes girl, a people pleasing, and living in fear, it just all trickles down to that fourth barrier. And that fourth barrier is one that you absolutely, please, please, please don't get to this point. And if you are, I'm going to help you get out of it. But the fourth barrier is helplessness. The fourth barrier is helplessness, which is to the point where you have been living your life on that hamster wheel of busy work. You have been burned out. You have been stressed. And now, because you've been a yes girl, a people pleaser, and living your life in fear, you have just created this mindset that it's just the way it is. That's what helplessness looks like. Well, I've always been this way. My parents were always this way. Everybody else in the world is busy. It's just the way it is. Like eventually when I get to 70, I'll just have the life. No, like it is not the way it is. Like we can change it. We can change it starting today. So I share with you those 4 barriers, and so many of you were right in the comments. Like you've nailed some of them. And so that's huge. Congrats. Like you're seeing it already. And so now we're going to really embrace like ways to change. But I really want to talk about how those barriers showed up in my life and really what led me into a state of burnout and what I say is my personal rock bottom. Because I lived my life so long living for other people and not staying true to myself. And so I had seasons and chapters of my life that were great. And then I had really some seasons and chapters of my life that were terrible. But now, only now with reflection, I can look back and I can realize that every part of my journey, every part of my story, they were all part of my path. They were all stepping stones leading me right here in my purpose, aligned, helping some of you who are feeling that you're living your life on that hamster wheel of burnout. You're living your life not being true to who you are. And so they all had purpose. They all had meaning. And so I'm ready to help you guys get back on the path of feeling just more productive, more focused, more fulfilled in your life. And so if you've been living your life kind of like my life was, like I felt like many times of my life, it was like, maybe you can relate. It was like a long dreaded detour. Like there was parts of my life where I was like having momentum and I felt like I was getting back on track. And then I would hit this barrier, or I'd hit this roadblock and I'd be like, gosh, dang it. You did it again, Jill, and all these lies that we tell ourselves kept coming up. So if you have felt like that, like put it in the chat, like any of you have ever felt like you just hit these roadblocks and that you cannot get past it. Like I'm going to help you today. So to sum it up, I really did. I hit rock bottom, and I had to hit rock bottom in order for me to finally wake up, to finally realize how much I let my career and my years of burnout take control of my life. Like I realized my self-worth was tied to how much I made. I felt like success was how busy I was. Like if you're successful, you're busy. It means you're hardworking. And I tied it to like the amount that was on my paycheck. Like money was what success meant to me back then. And let me tell you, it was nothing great about that lifestyle. That was a lifestyle of being burned out, disconnected from my spouse, disconnected from my family, like traveling all the time, constantly on the go, and just not myself. I was working 70 hours or more a week, just living on this hamster wheel. And along that way of my life and living that way, I just completely lost my own identity. I became that people pleasing, living my life for other people and not really what I wanted. But I had a different perception on the outside. Who has a different life on social media, right? Nobody shares our baggage on social media. Like social media, I was killing it. I was a high achiever. I had the perfect marriage. I had beautiful kids, killing it in my career. Like social media thought all the things. And that's exhausting. Let me tell you, I was exhausted living behind a smile when I knew my life was just a train wreck. But nobody knew, because that's what women do, right? We're really good about just burying it and pushing all the things down and not showing, our weakness or asking for help. And I remember going through those years, especially those years where it just felt like I was on that detour, really long detour. I craved in those moments, like, to live a life where I was full of joy and full of fulfillment and have my freedom back and be reconnected to my spouse and my kids and actually be home and be present, like fully present. But here's the thing, in order to achieve those things in life, in order to get those things that you want in life, like, you have to reclaim your power. You have to speak up. You have to share those things that you want. You have to communicate them. You have to be serious about changing some things in your life, being open to change. And so, unfortunately, I wish I said, that's what I did. I finally figured it out. I realized it. But I didn't communicate those things. Instead, I continued to be the yes girl. I can continue to mute my voice. I continued to work ridiculous amount of hours, not setting any boundaries in my life. And that led me down a really dark valley of shame and guilt and lies and remorse, to the point that one day I remember staring in the mirror, and I couldn't even recognize the woman staring back. Like, every day, every month became more and more painful. I was just losing myself every year, further and further away from the person that I knew I was. And so, in order to numb that pain, I know now I should have spoke up and really been intentional about changing it, but I didn't. In order to numb that pain, you know what I did? I found myself usually at the bottom of a wine bottle, numbing that pain with wine and alcohol. I stopped exercising because I was too tired or hungover to get up and do it. And then guess what? I buried myself in more work, because work to me meant success. And so I just found myself burying myself in more and more and more work. And that eventually led me to working really late hours, being at the office longer, and to the point where I found myself now in an inappropriate relationship with a coworker, keeping secret, telling lies, and having a full-blown affair. Like, that moment, I hit my personal rock bottom. But here's the deal. I tell you that because sometimes in our toughest battles in life, I mean, truly in our toughest battles, we can find our greatest strength. Sometimes storms come in our life for a reason, and I truly believe that. And we can find our gifts, we can find our strengths, we can find this wake-up call that we never could see coming. And I know till this day, like, storms and battles will still come in my life, right? I know that they will. Like, storms are going to happen. Storms are going to happen for each and every one of you. But I want you to remember that when they do come, like, know that something beautiful is about to happen. Like, rainbows exist to prove that beautiful things can happen after a bad storm, right? So that's just hope for some of you right now, that maybe you are in this season of your life where it just feels heavy. You're on the hamster wheel of busy work. You're burned out. Like, things in your life are just going astray. And it feels like a long dreaded detour. It feels like a heavy storm. Like, I really want you to know that these storms are going to pass. And let me tell you, my storm wasn't just a storm. I'm going to call my story a tornado. Like, it was a disaster. I was a disaster, absolute disaster. But we can hit the reset button. We can absolutely set the reset button today. So I want to give you those 3 steps right now of how we can break through those barriers. So all those you probably heard in my story, I was a yes girl. I was a people pleaser. I was living my life in fear. And that is what led me to that state of helplessness. where I was attaching my things to all the wrong things and not staying true to myself. So get a pen and a journal if you don't have it already, because these 3 things I want to share with you. And these are exactly what led me to living a life full of freedom, of joy, of fulfillment, getting my life back together. And so number 1, us women, we have to reclaim our voice. We have to speak our truth. Reclaim your power. Stop muting your voice. So number 1, reclaim your power and speak your truth. Because my guess is if you keep bumping up to the same challenges, if you keep bumping up to the same pain over and over again, my gut will say, you're not speaking up. You're not communicating, or at least you're not communicating effectively, which is something I help women in my coaching program do, is we have to communicate. Our husbands, our managers, our bosses, like, they are not mind readers. Believe me, I tried. I thought my husband could read my mind. He can't. He can't do it. I wish he could. Same thing with your boss. Like, have you communicated how busy you are? Have you communicated that there's absolutely no way right now with the workload I have that I can take on more? Like, don't let fear stop you from speaking up and sharing like boundaries. Be open to say, I'm at my capacity, and be open to communicate the things. Like I said before, like, I could have got out of my situation a lot faster if I would have been open and intentional about changing and being opening and communicating, but I didn't. I muted my voice. So number 1, reclaim your power and speak your truth. And then number two is we have to be open to change. If you're ready to get off the hamster wheel of busy work, if you're ready to stop living a life of burnout, we have to change. Things have to change. Like, doing the same thing over and over and over again, it leads to what? Insanity is what they call it. So you have to be open to change. Like, if COVID taught us anything, we know that change, like, COVID made us change. Like, there was no way around it, right? We started working from home. Our kids were now at home. Like, it forced us to change. And so you can change. You just got to be intentional about being open to change. That's the difference. And so we get stuck in, there's opportunities and there's doors that are knocking for you. Like, they're right there in front of you. But because of those barriers that I talked about, fear being probably number 1, is we're too afraid to take the change. We're too afraid to step into that unknown. And so I really want you guys to embrace being open to change. We've got to let some things go. What I found is so many of us women, we look at our past and we let our past control our future. We'll never get anywhere. It's like driving, let me give you this example. It's like driving your car. You're driving, and you're staring in your rearview mirror as you're driving your car. And then you crash, right? And now you're over here stuck on the side of the road, and you're wondering why you're over here. Like, it's the same way that you can't drive your life looking in the past. Like, if you want to get out of this, burnout mentality, if you want to have more productivity in your life, be more focused, you've got to keep your eyes forward. Like, where do you want to go? Where are we going? And you got to keep your eyes looking there and not looking in the rearview mirror, not looking at, oh my gosh, I'll never get there because you know what? My parents never went to college, this, all these excuses and these lies, or all these hurts that somebody else put on us that we can't get over. It's keeping you stuck. I know, because I lived there way too long. And so we got to let that go, and we got to embrace change, because change can be a beautiful thing. Like, I always love fall. Fall is like one of my favorite seasons because it's so beautiful. Like, you look outside and all the colors. Like, fall reminds you that change can be beautiful. And right now it's not so beautiful outside because the leaves are all falling. I'm in Indianapolis, so it's winter. And so right now outside, all the trees are bare. And the trees, they lose all those leaves so that they're not weighted down when winter comes. They're not weighted down in the next season. And so for some of us, in order for you to step into your greatness, in order for you to get off that hamster wheel, you've got to start letting things go. You've got to let things go, just like the leaves let go of the trees. Like, let it go. Oh my gosh, the feelings that you will have when you let it go. Okay. I can talk about change all day long, but we don't have enough time. So let's move on to number 3. And number 3, this is number 3. Use these. I promise you it'll work. It'll get you off of your burnout mentality. Is you got to start showing up as your authentic self. You got to stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop living your life for other people, being that people pleaser that I talked about. Because here's the thing, let me tell you, every single one of you has a unique gift, a unique strength, a talent that only you have. Like God created each and every one of us as a unique individual, and you have a gift. And when you figure out what that gift is, like, oh my goodness, the joy it'll bring. Like there will be no more burnout or busy work because you are in line with what you were created to do. Like you have a gift that is ready to just be shown to the world. And so I just look at some of the amazing leaders in this world, and these are the 3 things that they do. They show up every day as their authentic self. They're not afraid to speak their mind. They're not afraid to say what they think, be who they are, wear what they want. They're authentic. They're humble. They're open. They're honest. They speak their truth. They embrace change. They look for opportunities knowing that, hey, you know what? I might fail, but I'm going to try anyway. And then I'm going to try again, and I'm going to try again. So that's what I want all 3 of you, all of us to do, all of us women, is these 3 things. So it starts with really just saying, yeah, I need to make some changes. I need to embrace some change. Sheila said, I'm at my capacity. Yes, tell them I am at capacity, and it is okay to say that. And work that into your life and say, you know what, I can't take any more of that on right now, and be okay with that. So if you've been dealing with, some of these issues that I have said for months or years or decades, like I really want to invite you right now to really think about what it is, especially as we go into a new year. Like this is a perfect time to really be like, what is it that I need to do in my life right now to change? Like only you know that. Have you been living your life in fear too long? Have you been a people pleaser? Have you been a yes girl? Or maybe for you, you are right now, you are in that state of just helplessness. I don't know what that is for you. I don't know where you're at, but you do. And I really want you to just get a visual of where you want to be. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to change? And I want to really have you visualize this right now, because you can make that change. We can do that today. So there is a line in the sand for somebody today. There is a line drawn in the sand, and just vision yourself there. Like vision yourself right now, like maybe even close your eyes and just vision yourself like standing there, like on the beach, hearing the ocean waves, just this feeling of calmness over you. Like you are not busy. You are not burned out. You are just present. And then there is a line in the sand for you. And across that line is that life that you've been waiting for. Across that line is everything that you have been wanting and desiring. And all you have to do is step across it. All you have to do is say yes. So step across it. If that's you, put in the chat, like, that's me. I know I need to change. Like, don't let fear sit in. Like, I believe that there is so much power when you can say, that's me. I need change. And when you do, and you ask for the help, oh my goodness, the opportunities that are going to come to you. So step over that line right now, because it's more than just you. It's more than just being burnt out. It's more than just being on this busy work. Like, there's more about this than just that. Like, this is affecting other people. Just imagine, like, who's on the other side of that line that is just waiting for you to cross it? Who's over there that's been ready and cheering you on, waiting for you to make this change, waiting for you to step into your authentic self? Yes, Joanna, that's me. I need to change. Absolutely. Way to say it and claim it. Like, speak it to the universe, because once you do and you ask for help and you admit it, oh my gosh, I promise you, the opportunities will come. So I told you guys earlier about, my story and my life and how I hit my rock bottom and I had an affair. And some of you are like, did she really just say on Facebook Live that she had an affair and she's admitting it? I am, because I have a heart to just help others who may have went through the same path, who may have lost their way just like I had. But guess what? Just like I told you, those storms in life happen for a reason. And yes, Chantel, that's me. Awesome. Way to just speak it. Storms in life happen. And so guess what? That storm happened in my life for a reason. And we didn't stay stuck there though. Like my marriage, we stayed married. We got through it. I stepped over the line. I decided finally I wasn't going to live my life like this. I stepped over the line. And because of that, my marriage has been restored. It's been better than it's ever been. My life, I'm now living in my purpose. I'm doing what I absolutely love, which is helping others find a way to navigate through life quicker. Like, don't do the life that I did. Like, let me help you right now break through that. Like, there are breakthroughs that are happening, and everything happens in our life for a reason. Whether it feels like it's a bad storm, I promise you, you're going to get through it. And so I'll leave you with this funny story. My husband's name is Jack. I'm Jill. So we are Jack and Jill. And so what we have realized is we have made this a little bit of a humor, because the nursery rhyme already told us that we were going to fall down the hill. Like Jack and Jill went up the hill, right? But they fell down, and we fell down really, really, really hard. But here's the thing. It's not how hard you have fallen. It's not all about your past. It's about how you can get back up. And we have got back up time and time again, and better and better and better. And it just keeps getting better. So I hope that gives you any kind of encouragement. If you know, some of you have said you have stepped over that line. Margot, I can't even see them. The comments are coming, but for those of you that have stepped over that line and you want to make a change, like, this is what I do. As Jennifer Jade said, I'm a high performance coach. I specialize in productivity, communication, and purpose, aligning your purpose with your work to boost your productivity. This is my passion. This is my gift. And so because of this holiday fair that Jennifer Jade has so graciously given us the opportunity, I'm offering my coaching service at a huge, generous rate, only to the people that are here on this, watching live or on the replay, at a huge, generous rate. So I would love to help you. If you're ready to make that change, it will never be this low. It's 75% off my original coaching program pricing. So it's an incredible deal, amazing 8 weeks that can truly transform your life. So if that resonates with you, let me know, put it in the chat. I can put a link right there, and it'll give you all the details. And I would just truly love to help you. So I will end with that. If there's any questions, again, put it in the chat if you want the link. And I don't know who said this quote, but I love it, where it says, sometimes later becomes never. So do it now. And it's so true.